It's time for another hospitality segment on Your Sanctuary. You know, there are so many great restaurants on the Monterey Peninsula, so many great places to enjoy great food and great ambiance. I'm here today on Fisherman's Wharf in Monterey, one of these special places, and I'm going to be visiting with Dominic Mercurio, who owns Domenico's and Cafe Fina. Fisherman's Wharf is such a famous tourist destination, but we see a lot of locals down here too. Why do you think Fisherman's Wharf is one of these special places that people come to time and time again?
Well, a perfect example is right behind me. You know, we have the harbor. It's different every day when it's high tide, low tide, the surges, the boats coming in and out. They're hanging on for their dear life when there's a big current. The shoreline, it's almost soothing and relaxing. And people will just come here and sit, and sometimes they won't even speak, you know, just by staring at the shorelines. And the harbor life. I mean, the sea lions are playing all day. The pelicans are diving on a school of sardines. I mean, it's different every day. It's a real special place to come, and we take it for granted because we see it every day. We don't realize how fun these sea lions are to watch, chasing each other and trying to figure out how to get on that rail. People don't understand that, but it's really cool to watch. You know, they balance on a 2x6. It's sort of cool, you know.
Dominic, tell us about Domenico's and Cafe Fina. The food, the atmosphere, the history, you know, your special touch to these places.
Well, you know, being born and raised here, coming from a fisherman family, on my father's side and uncles, and on my mom's side, my uncle was a restaurateur, and he still is. He's been here, one of the best chefs on the Monterey Peninsula. Is all we know is local. You know, we didn't know about Arctic char and scrod and tilapia. We knew how to cook local fish in season. You know, that was sustainable. We knew sustainable was normal. We hated the farmed aspect of the fishing because it was cutting into our family's livelihood. It affected the business. But, you know, we cook the things that we've been cooking for most of our lives, and we're good at it. I learned from grandparents, you know, grandmothers, grandfathers, local cooks, and that's what we did, is we ate our local fish. Plus, I got into about 15 years ago, we grow our own vegetables. I have a little ranch in Los Banos, and we grow all the heirloom stuff, all organic. And it's sort of those two things marrying each other. It's pretty tough to beat, you know, now with salmon season and local sardines, and you get petrale sole. We realize how lucky we are to live here, and we're spoiled. You know, I was just up someplace, and you know, we were looking at these top restaurants, and there was no local fish. It was sort of a little disappointing, you know, but we try to strive on that. We want to support the locals. We want to do the right thing. And we've sort of did it before it was trendy, to be honest with you. That's what we do.
You and your family have a strong and passionate connection to the ocean and to Monterey. Tell us about your relationship to this special place.
Well, I'm here because my father landed here chasing those little sardines. Come from a fisherman family, like I said. My father started fishing sardines here at the tail end. He was the youngest brother, so the oldest brother came first, and they saved enough money for the next brother and the next brother. And anyway, by the time my dad got here, it was pretty much the tail end of the sardines. But he still ended up going on those purse seiners. And, you know, those purse seiners still had to work, even if the sardines thinned out. But, and he ended up tuna fishing, I think, in South America is what he did. But my brother is in Alaska as we speak. I fished in Alaska commercially for 20 years. I fished out here, but it was more for sport. But my brother was a commercial fisherman. So, you know, my grandmother's neighbor were in the fishing business. Cafe Fina used to be the original Monterey Fish Company. That's where Monterey Fish Company started, and that was my grandmother's neighbors. So there's a big tie. I mean, and being in the fishing industry and knowing all the people that grew up in this area, we get first crack at a lot of stuff. We're lucky. You know, you could talk to my brother Sam, and somebody says, where did the halibut come from? And he'll call some guy that was fishing halibut and say, hey, Anthony, where'd you get, where are they getting the halibut right now? What's going on? And boom, he'll tell them right away, And so Monterey is a special place. Fisherman's Wharf has carried Monterey on its back for 100 years. I mean, there's no question about it. Monterey is a special, special place. And the wharf, the history that's here, people really, really don't realize how lucky we are to be and come down this wharf and look at the sea lions, the seagulls, and eat some of the local fish that's caught in the area. You don't see that a lot. And we strive very, very hard to try to support the local people and the local fishermen.
Dominic, tell us a little bit more about Cafe Fina.
I started Domenico's in 1981. My uncle and I were partners here, and I ventured off on my own and opened Cafe Fina in 1989. And I was actually going to get out of the restaurant business for a little while and buy a fishing boat and move to Seattle and become a commercial fisherman when the owner, the previous owner of Cafe Fina, which then was Gino's, famous seafood and steaks, was my grandmother's neighbor and told me, do you remember when you were little, I told you if I ever sold, I would sell to you. So he called me a couple days before Christmas. I had the money because I was going to go buy a boat, so I brought it right over to him, and it was meant to be. But that was actually, I mean, when we were young, we used to run up and down this wharf. We used to jump off that restaurant, this restaurant when it was loose because we had easy access, and the one at the end, because it had stairs going up them, and there was about 5 or 6. We used to do it every summer till the harbor master used to come and try to chase us around, and he could never catch us because we used to run underneath the wharf. There was a big walkway underneath, and we had a lot of fun. But anyway, into Cafe Fina, I started, I got a brick oven. I went to Europe a couple years prior and saw wood-burning ovens. So I really wanted one because you could cook pizza, you could cook fish, meat, you name it. It was just one of those pieces of equipment where you can do anything you want. So anyway, I had it imported over, which now they build them here, which is about 1/3 of the price. But I was the first person in Monterey to get an actual wood-fired oven. We were making our own pasta. That was sort of a special deal now. And I think we're one of the few places that actually make it on premise. We do the linguine, fettuccine, angel hair, fusilli, and anything special that we do. And we do the flavored pastas and things like that.
Dominic, a lot of celebrities and famous people come to Monterey and the Fisherman's Wharf. I bet some of them come to Cafe Fina, right?
Well, you've seen the pictures, so that's why you're asking. We're very, very lucky. We've had, Joe DiMaggio. How many people can say they have a picture and a signed baseball with Joe DiMaggio? John Madden, the football guru. The one that started X's and O's on the Telestrator. Payne Stewart, Joe Pesci. It goes, it goes on and on. But the memories with these people, I remember when Jay Leno came in. He was here for the car show, obviously. And so I make this beautiful seafood spread for him. I got all these special things lined up for him. He wanted a sausage pizza. He doesn't eat seafood. I was not happy about that. But there's nothing you could do. He was allergic to seafood. It was all he wanted, a sausage pizza, which was fine. But it was funny. You get in your mind, everybody likes fish. Not everybody likes fish, But some of the other celebrities, of course, a lot of golfers because of the Pebble Beach area, and Goldie Hawn, Mario Andretti. It goes on. Just cool people that have great stories and have left a lot of great memories and become friends. And along with repeat customers, it was great getting a call direct from the track from Mario Andretti making a reservation, or Johnny Miller. That's a pretty cool thing, and John Madden's a very good customer of ours, and we met in the restaurant. It was about 21 years ago. He was walking up and down the wharf, and all he wanted was clam chowder. So he was with his wife, and he was sort of trying to stay low-key. 6'6", doesn't stay low-key. So I walked up to him, and I said, "What are you looking for? You looked at this menu 3 times. What do you want?" He goes, "I'm just looking for some good clam chowder." So I said, Go sit at that table. I'll bring it to you. If you don't like it, don't pay and don't come back. He came back 7 Sundays in a row. We ended up being friends. He asked me if I knew some guys that liked to play poker, and he had some guys, and we've been the same playing cards, the same guys for about 21 years. A couple have changed and passed on, but John and I are now partners. We have the ranch. That's where I grow all my vegetables for the restaurant, is in Los Banos, and it's JD Farms, which is John and Dominic, and we've been friends ever since, and it's been a great relationship. And then just someone walking down the wharf to come and have some good clam chowder, and that's how it started.